IVM.
Some time ago, 5 successful restaurateurs came together to form the Colaba Cartel. The founders of the table, Gauri Devidayal and J. Yusuf, partnered with the founders of Woodside Inn, Abhishek Honawar, Pankil Shah, and Sumit Gambhir to open a new restaurant in Colaba. If you've ever dreamed of opening a restaurant or love eating out, you want to listen in. The Colaba Cartel. This exclusive 10-part series is hosted by Gauri Devidayal and Amit Doshi.
Let's start with you, Gauri, because you're going to be on every episode right now, and we want to introduce everybody to you. So can I ask you, how did you get into restauranting? How did that become a thing that you started?
I blame Jay entirely for my current state of stress. No, it was actually, it was because Jay, my husband, decided to dive into the deep end, into the hospitality business, and not knowing anything about it. I would rather he was swimming, not sinking kind of thing. So I started helping out very inadvertently with just reviewing legal documents, things like that, which was my background, which is law and finance.
Right.
And slowly found myself getting more and more sucked into the world of restauranting. And to be honest, I haven't looked back a day, but that's how I got into it.
So how drastic a change was the career shift for you? I mean, you were initially a tax consultant, and from that you moved into restauranting, and those two things do not seem the same to me at all.
Well, they don't, but it helps to know your numbers when you're running a business. So it wasn't completely a shock to the system, but I think also, coupled with the fact that we love eating, we know what kind of experience we would want if we were dining out. I think just having that sort of background, and then obviously, being able to read documents, plan a business, things like that. It wasn't a complete chalk to cheese kind of change, but obviously running a business after being an employee for most of my life and now being an entrepreneur was a different level of responsibility, huge change. But it just felt natural. It felt like something I kind of slipped into, huge learning curve. But it haven't looked back a day, and honestly, it kind of feels like I've landed where I was supposed to.
Do you think the background in this kind of more traditional corporate space, you bring something else, pardon the pun, to the table than other people do?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think it takes many different minds to make a business work, and with Jay, it was definitely more. He's the bigger risk taker and the ideas man, and I'm the person who executes those that vision and is more of a details person. So it takes both sides of the coin to make it work. And I definitely think that being able to not getting starry-eyed when you see numbers and Excel sheets is a very important part of any business.
I would agree. Okay, so I also want to talk a little bit about the Mag Street Kitchen. That seems like such an interesting idea and such an unusual kind of thing to develop, right? How did you think about creating something like that? I think it's a one-of-a-kind place in Bombay. And also, Baikala as a location seems like a very odd location for a place which is so high-end, if you will.
Yeah, it's actually a little deeper in than Baikala even.
Okay.
It's in the the darker corners of an area called Ray Road. I mean, you're right. It's not a location that we would necessarily go out and hunt down. It fell into our lap because there was a an old family property. But I think again, this is where Jay's vision came into what we could do there without being, boxed in by the idea of a restaurant, which is what we'd done and what we were known for, but rather thinking out of that and doing something different. I think our whole expansion over the years has been in a very unconventional way, not just taking one success story and doing it, repeating it, but rather seeing what gaps there were in the city and trying to fill those with different dining experiences and sort of in the hospitality space. So with Mag Street, we recognize that location, being what it was, wouldn't necessarily have like a walk-in footfall. It would be a space where people would be coming for something specific.
Right.
So that's why it's sort of more of an event-based space. But it's not just, a banquet hall kind of space. It's again very much focused on the food, which is what we know and love and do well, I hope.
Give me a word. या कोई भी लाइन, कुछ भी हो सकता है यार. क्या कहा आपने? टोपी. Okay. Mohan Joshi hated wearing topis. He felt suffocated in them. टोपी पहनते ही उसे स्कूल की याद आती थी. Where of course he had no choice but to wear a टोपी. But जिस दिन पास आउट हुआ, उसी दिन उसने अपनी टोपी का bonfire बना दिया. And since then, he'd never worn a cap or a hat. ना कड़कती धूप में, and not even to बचो from the thandi. But from Monday 26th February, Mohan Joshi had to wear a topi all the time. Why? Because if he didn't, everyone around him knew exactly वो क्या सोच रहा था. They knew that he was wondering how the girl in the yellow churidar would look बिना कपड़े के. They knew when he was calling the boss a sadela टमाटर. They knew everything. पर ये सब हुआ कैसे? अरे भाई, यही तो स्टोरी है. और ये स्टोरी आप ही ने मुझे दिया by giving me the starting word. यही तो है The Croc's Tales. Words आपके, कहानी आपके लिए. Catch the stories on Monday and Thursday on the IVM website, app, and anywhere you get your podcast from. See you soon.
Long, long ago, not in Bethlehem, but in a place nearby, there was a wonderful birth of a huge show, which I like to call Cyrus Says. The show that encapsulates everything in human history, from the first Homo sapien to the last Homo sapien, who's traversed the entire world and then come back to India. This is a show which tells you everything about everything. If you want to know, avoid Google, come to us. It's called Cyrus Says. Get new episodes every Monday and Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts from. It's simple as A, B, oh God, what comes after that?